Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Inside of the Den of Tim's. And today I'm joined by my guests, Detective Irish and the Sheriff. Say hello, guys.
Hello.
Oh, Sheriff, you cut out there.
Oh, sorry. Howdy.
Oh, my. Anyhow, today's episode of Epic or Trash is going to be Rich versus Jay. Who is the bigger Sony crybaby? And we're going to start today with Rich's first video, which is titled, Sony is striking down PS5 Pro leaked videos. Well, hopefully it's a good video.
Also,
PS5 Pro rumors are true. They're true. Sony's taking down videos where people talked about the leaks.
Yeah! Skip it up and da 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 da. Skip.
Okay, that intro has so many jokes in it.
It's time to abort your whole friggin' species.
He's fucking
Why
smacking
is he beating his cock?
Yeah, he's smacking his cock.
You're beating your cock. Like you're opening yourself up to self-pleasure jokes, sir.
Or you should have just choked the chicken.
I think that was the intention. But, oh my. Anyhow.
It's time to get into the news, the occasional news that I put up occasionally. Sometimes. Hey everybody, I'm a man and I'm back, and on this channel I'll be putting up the occasional news story, some big videos I have planned that are in the works, and I'm also live streaming on a brand new wonderful set. It's beautiful. It has lights, it has a man. It's a totally new setup finally after
Literally, it looks the exact fucking same.
Okay, so unless you watched the newer live streams, you won't see the new set, but he actually has a whole new setup. It's kind of like how you see here, but he has a screen in the back instead of a blanket, and he has a projector that projects images onto it. He also has an arcade machine that plays.
Well, I don't see that arcade machine in his background. All I see is all he changed was his lighting in his room, and he has a cock right next to him.
This is supposed to be his new recording room, which is his old streaming setup. And even that has changed since the last time he uploaded a video. Apparently, he's not going to be doing news videos anymore, according to his recent stream, which happened yesterday. He stated he's no longer going to be doing news videos unless it's extremely important. Other than that, he's going to work on his long-form content and his live streams, which apparently he's going back to full-time. So, we'll see. But so far, guys, what do you think of the video just from the intro alone?
That statue of his cock is probably at least 100 times bigger than his dick.
Already with the personal shots. What do you think, Sheriff?
Well,
Kind of party. Wish I had time.
And his bloody soundboard. Anyhow, let's continue.
almost a decade, so you could check it out on my live streams. I'll even be doing videos like this from that set, and yes, things are still happening to this set as well. Make sure you check out my live stream channel, links below in the description, and yes, I'm going to get back to making music. I have been spread thin, don't make jokes, so that's another channel you should check out.
I bet you love getting spread thin, don't you?
Rich 1 inch.
Rich is getting spread very thin by Jay. He
1
loves
inch
getting
ridge.
he's getting his butt cheek spread open by JKB. RT is getting spread by JKB. That's going to be the title of this video is hashtag RTU gets spread by JKB.
No, I just thought of 1 inch rich.
Oh, good lord! Don't. Oh, good lord. Okay. Okay. That just. I just have to do it.
Inform you that you're
No, I'm sorry. That was such a cheap shot, and it was just out in the open.
Well, I mean, just the first he's beaten his cock, and now the cock's just sitting there staring at me.
It's down to you and me, you one-eyed freak.
Oh my god. Let's continue. Oh god.
Got some good stuff coming there. So the PlayStation 5 Pro rumors have been nonstop, I would say, for what, like 6 months now? Maybe more, maybe a little less, but I would say about 6 months. And the rumors have been very educated. We know about things like how many work group processors are going to be inside the PS5 Pro,
Yeah,
how
they
it's still
somehow
going to
forget.
use Zen 2 cores for the CPU, but it's going to get a clock speed boost. Yay. We know that they're talking about how ray tracing is going to be better utilized on the PS5 Pro. And on top of that, too, there's going to be PS5 Pro. They're going to have like a kind of like what they did with the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X, where if a game is optimized to run on the better hardware, more powerful mid-gen systems.
So with all those upgrades, it's barely even noticeable. But you're going to spend a bunch of money to buy it.
Probably looking at the upwards of 1,000.
Well, no, there's no way it's going to go up to 1,000. It's probably going to be a $500 console, USD.
Well, I'm expecting it to go higher than that just because of like what happened to the original PS5 during the pandemic.
Well, no, you also have to think. There was the Xbox 360, then there was the Xbox 360 Elite, then there was the Xbox 360 Slim. Literally, they're going to cause, like, multiple, like, versions of that generation. Like Xbox One, then Xbox One X, and then they went to Xbox Series S, and then Xbox Series X. They're creating multiple versions of that generation console, which barely actually makes a difference.
I was going to say, for example, you had the PS4, which is the one I currently have. Then you had the PS4 Pro, and now you've got the PS5 Digital Edition, the PS5.
Slim,
I did not know there was a Slim.
PS4 Slim.
But that's not the point here. That's last gen. This is current gen we're talking about. So you got a PS5 digital edition. Then you've got the disc one, which is the one I have. Then you have the Slim with and the Slim without. And now you're going to have the Pro. So I'm wondering if the Pro is also going to be a digital edition or if it's going to be disc drive included.
Well, my point is you're barely going to notice a difference. When it comes to that generation of that console, you are barely going to notice a difference.
Maybe like 20% better. Like they're saying the Pro this time around. Well, they're saying that this time around the Pro is supposed to do what the original PS5 couldn't do, which was 8K at 30 frames a second and 4K at 60 frames a second solid.
Well, 8K, like, who even has an 8K fucking monitor or TV? Like, most people run at 4K, and they can't even run a 4K at 60.
1080p is still, 1440p is the standard right now, actually.
I run on 1080p, and I can run quite a bit on, like, within the past couple years. There are very demanding games, but most of the people don't have an 8K TV. They're still on a 4K TV, especially when it comes to consoles.
Well, I was going to say, like,
honestly, take that 4K and boost up the frames per second instead of, now you can do an 8K at 30 frames And now you can finally do a 4K at 60 frames. Like, why not just boost up the 4K to, 120 frames per second?
Well, they're working on software that's supposed to make it happen. That's similar to NVIDIA's DLS and NVIDIA's, not NVIDIA, but AMD's FSR.
Well, why not just take the basic and boost it up on frames per second instead of being like, oh, well, we have an 8K, which, by the way, 8K is probably overboard at that moment. Like, most of the majority of people only have, like, 4K.
I was going to say, like, the Mac I'm using right now, the M1 Pro, the screen when it came out was 120 hertz. It was liquid retina, and it's capable of projecting up to 4K because Apple works a little bit differently. But for the most part, most of everything I watch is like 1600 to 1080. It's usually 1080p to 1440p. I don't usually watch past 1440p unless I'm like video editing my stuff. But anyhow.
Yeah. Well, my monitor is 1080p on the dot, but you have Rich here being a simp for fucking Sony saying, oh, well, now we can do 8K for 30 frames, and now we can do 4K for 60 frames. Dude, seriously, with a new console, you should probably be doing like 4K with maybe 120 frames per second instead of, oh, well, we'll give you 60 frames per second.
What do you think,
He's a fucking...
I don't really think too much on the matter. I mean, we may see an improvement, we may not. We won't know until we actually get hold of it and actually start running some stress tests on the actual unit. And even then, you'll still have variability between each unit based on the tolerances involved. So until I actually have one that I've played and put under some real testing and made some notes comparing it to any other consoles I have, I really can't say.
Fair enough.
Well, my problem is he's saying up to.
Well, remember, I said
is
that,
very
not him.
vague.
Remember, I stated that.
He did. Well, no, he stated that it would be a permanent 60 frames per second for 4K and maybe 30 frames per second when it comes to 8K, which I don't know anyone on this planet that has an 8K monitor or even TV for that matter.
I suppose that's fair enough. Let's continue.
You would see a logo on the box, or if you're downloading it on PSN or whatever, to let you know it's going to utilize the more powerful mid-gen refresh system. Well, besides all those specs I just mentioned, again, if you want any more proof that Sony is actually making a PS5 Pro, this happened before in the past with the PS4 Slim, too, as well. They took down videos. They're taking down videos of people who are leaking PS5 Pro information. This comes from PlayStationLifestyle.net. I'll read it to you, then we'll discuss. Sony Interactive Entertainment has practically confirmed the recent PS5 Pro leak by issuing a copyright strike against the YouTube channel who first reported on the console specs. YouTuber Moore's Law is Dead first leaked PS5 Pro specs in mid-March, which were later corroborated by known insiders. Nearly a month later, Sony has had the video taken down. And in case you're wondering if this information is valid, that Sony did...
Hang on. Sony is getting pissed off because someone leaked that their specs are not actually good.
What they're pissed about is that somebody's leaking out the console's existence before they can do official press release, and leaking out the specs of the console before they can do the official release.
But I'm pretty sure that he was talking shit about PlayStation, saying that their specs are not actually what they present it to be.
Well, Sony is taking down any kind of information, and what they're saying is that they're taking down the information because Sony knows that it's true, and that whatever marketing they come up with will now be refuted with that evidence. So they're trying to remove the evidence, so that way, when it comes time for them to release the press conference about it, or whatever marketing spiel they decide to use, that whatever they say that the console can do will be refuted by the evidence that has been quote-unquote corroborated.
Or leaked, showing that their product is full of shit.
Pretty much so. Well, again, we won't know until we get the console. But so far as the video is concerned,
it's kind of backing up the leaker.
Yeah, it's doing that, so it's not really simping for Sony.
Yeah, so
but
Rich is kind of backing up whoever leaked it.
So far, we haven't finished the video. Hello, guys. If you're enjoying the video, why not hit that subscribe button? Make sure you hit the like button, hit that bell notification bell, so you can see all my new videos, whether it be drum covers, cosplays, or the show you're watching, Epic or Trash. Also, don't forget to, if you want to watch the unedited version of this video, go and hit up the Patreon, where you can support the content and get extra content that you don't get to see here or on any other platform. Now, let's continue on with the video. Fair enough. Let's continue.
This copyright strike. Tom Warren over at The Verge posted this on whatever the hell it's called, X. This is what he had to say. Sony has filed a copyright strike against the PS5 Pro leak video for Moore's Law is Dead. The video has been removed from YouTube. If the PS5 Pro wasn't real, why would Sony do that? This still pisses me off that Sony does this as well. This is really why I wanted to make a video. Sony, these leaks are everywhere. They're everywhere. This is why E3 is dead. This is like, it just leaks. I'm not saying that people should break non-disclosure agreements. I'm not saying that, but leaks are going to happen, and people are going to report on the leaks, and people are going to remain anonymous at companies so they could be like, hey, you know, just don't mention my name, but the PS5 Pro is going to have this many compute units, and the processor is going to run at this speed. It's going to have this much RAM, but I didn't tell you that. Of course it's going to...
Yeah, I mean, honestly, what do you expect?
So, who remembers the golden age of E3?
Not really. I mean, I sort of paid attention to it in the late 2000s towards early 2010, but
not me either.
No, that's when it started to die.
To be honest, with the way gaming is going now, I don't think many people would want to look at E3 anyway, because we all know that the game will never match the trailer, because the trailer is always like some fleshed out fancy piece that they make for 30 seconds that'll be cut anyway. And even the part where Bethesda Studios would talk, it was nicknamed, "This is the part where Todd Howard lies." Or we're just going to get another Skyrim port.
Well, that was after Skyrim, but E3. So my middle school used to go to our local amusement park, like for the good kids. I purposely got myself suspended from the field trips because I wanted to watch E3 for 3 days.
Up to you, my dude. That's
well, no, it was like a three days of like field trips and amusement parks, and no, I wanted to watch E3 instead. because that was like right before school ended, like within the week of school is ending. So what's the difference for me saying, you know what, I hate you guys, I want to get suspended? Just because I want to sit at home and watch E3.
That's fair enough. Let's continue.
To happen, and that's what YouTubers and journalists do. They report on the damn leaks. It's not their fault that it leaked, but it leaked. And all you're doing, maybe that's by design, who knows, maybe Mark Cerny's an evil marketing genius. When you strike down these videos, even though I just think they're out of touch and don't realize that this is what it does, it causes the Streisand effect. Now people are going to pay attention even more. If you want people to stop talking or slowly subside talking...
Holy shit, Rich, turn down your mic.
No, he's going on like a full tirade. I'm pretty sure he did turn down his mic because this is not a live recording, it's an actual recording. And I think he did turn down his mic because he realized he's louder than he should be.
Well, the mic he's using, that SM7B, if I'm correctly, the model he has a preamp built into it. And he probably has that preamp turned up very loud. So even when, because I can hear it on the headphones when he's hitting the mic or he's saying certain plosives that are setting it off.
I'm just giving him like the benefit of the
benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, benefit of the doubt that he did turn down his mic, even though he was probably louder in person.
Who knows? Let's continue.
PS5 Pro until it actually launches. Don't do something like this. Because now people are like, oh man, everyone's going to be in a fervor now. Kind of, because not everyone
really.
I know is super excited for the PS5 Pro, even though I'm sure it's going to sell well.
Remember,
but now people are going to be like, wait a second.
Horizon.
This thing has to be real.
True.
Why would Sony be striking down videos? So Sony
okay, so I'll play devil's advocate and say maybe Sony was taking them down because those were lies about the system, and the system actually is going to be better than what's being told, and they don't want people assuming one thing when maybe what they put out actually is the truth. Just playing the devil's advocate here.
Okay, so Xbox, Microsoft, and PlayStation and Sony are literally lying about their specs and what their hardware can do. They've been lying about it for years. Like, how many years did it actually take for PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series S and X to actually have like a boost mode for performance, but it downgraded the graphics, and it could still barely manage 60 frames per second?
Well, they both came out in 2020, if I remember correctly.
They came out at the same time because around the GameCon, that's when they start releasing their new consoles.
Yeah, let's continue.
Doesn't want people talking about it, even though they do. And we know why they want a PS5 Pro out on the market. Even though they're going to have no exclusive games this year to utilize it, they want to be the place you want to play GTA 6. They ain't no fools. And in my opinion, that's why the PS5 Pro is going to exist. It's going to be the place unless Microsoft has a surprise, and we know it's not coming out on PC, at least initially. Sony knows they will be the place to play GTA 6, and that's what they want.
Oh, bullshit.
This is Richard Review.
Fucking... Oh, my... Bullshit, dude. Okay, so I'm pretty sure Microsoft and Sony have insiders on each company. And Microsoft and Sony basically are on the same playing field. Like, PlayStation, I will give them this. They do have better graphics, but they have bad frame rates. Xbox and Microsoft, unfortunately, has better frame rates, but they have worse graphics. So, honestly, it's based on who's the bigger evil. The only problem is Xbox and Microsoft actually have a market on PC gaming. PlayStation is barely putting their foot in the pool when it comes to PC gaming.
So I'm going to let you in just a little bit of a fact. Rockstar stated that at least for right now, GTA 6 will only come out on either the Xbox or the PlayStation. It will not be coming out on PC, and that's why he was talking about that.
2K is deciding on who to sell to.
Rockstar is owned by Take-Two, which that corporation... Take-Two. 2K and Gearbox is the other corporation you're thinking of. Take-Two is not selling Rockstar to anybody.
Wait, no, oh shit, no, Take-Two was actually, originally, was bought out by, God, you just said their name and I totally forgot it. Well, Take-Two Studios was bought out by Rockstar.
Strike that, reverse it. It was Take-Two that bought out Rockstar.
Oh, okay, so I am right. Take-Two Studios basically runs Rockstar's studio.
Yes, they do everything legally on behalf of Rockstar.
But no, it depends on if Take-Two is going to sell themselves to Microsoft or Sony, or if they are smart enough, they remain independent.
They're remaining independent. What they're saying is they don't plan on making a PC port of the game as is right now due to the delay. Well, that was in their latest press conference for the game back when they announced the delay for it. Because
so they're going to pull a Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah, which means the PC port probably will come eventually, but not
within a year.
I'd give it about 2, given the massive delay they have on it right now. It'll probably be another 2 years. We'll probably see World War III before we'll see GTA 6.
Oh, well, no, when it came to, oh, wait, go ahead, Sheriff.
No, you guys lagged out for me for a while, so I was just wondering, is that me or is that you?
Oh, we were talking fine.
Yeah, you sounded fine. You sounded fine on my end.
No, but so they're gonna do excuse me. Shit, burped again. So they're gonna do a Red Dead Redemption 2, where it took them 2 years to take it to PC.
Probably so. Anyhow,
but they're not going to side with one company or the other. They're going to corner the market when it comes to consoles. So they're going to go both Xbox and PlayStation, but exclude PC until a later date.
Yeah, I think that's what they're going to do, but there's no guarantee. Anyhow, honestly, as far as the video is concerned, I don't really see him simping that much. But again, I did pick 2 videos where both him and Jay were quote unquote going after Sony, and so far I think Rich has definitely done a good job going after Sony. And the reason I'm bringing up Jay's latest video is because of a couple of tweets I'll pull up on screen.
Well,
because of a couple. Because
No.
the last video we did on Epic or Trash, we praised that video, but now seeing the recent tweets about what's happened with Helldivers, it's kind of put a different light on the video, and you guys will see why in a few minutes. But let's finish Rich's video and then give our rating of it.
Tech USA
I'm
signing
sorry,
out.
I'm in a lag. I'm in a lag when it comes to me trying to talk to you, but when it comes to Rich, he's like, if this was a Microsoft leak, he would tear the hell into it, though. Because it's a PlayStation leak, I kind of feel like he's kind of downplaying it. Like, he's like denying, oh, well, maybe it's a fake leak.
Fair enough. So let's move on.
But if it was like a Microsoft leak, he
Hi, I'm JKB, and as you guys know, I like to...
So let's move on. Before we move on to Jay's video, let's go ahead and give Rich's video our rating. Starting with Sheriff, what did you think?
I'm pretty neutral at this point. A lot of the stuff is unknown as to whether it's true or not. And while, as you say, he would probably tear into Microsoft a lot more, I'm not familiar enough with his content to really say for or against in this.
Yeah.
So,
well, I've been familiar with his content.
So, what would you rate the video, Sheriff?
Sort of mid.
So you would give it a crickets.
Yeah, most, I suppose, or you know.
A little more of a duck's quack. So, Detective, try to keep it within 2 minutes. What do you think of the video?
I just have one fucking horn if it actually plays.
Stop fucking around.
That delay. So, as far as I'm concerned, I would give it a crickets, honestly. Because, to be honest with you, it's an okay video, but that's about it. But get ready for Jay's.
Yeah, mine's he needs to stop fucking around.
So the reason we're bringing Jay's up because you're gonna love the tweets that are gonna pop up shortly.
The
also, before
the video game
before you start it, did you get any hate mail or friend mail?
No, nothing yet. Other than I'm pretty sure Jay hates me now, but that's about it.
Well, Jay hates me probably.
Who knows? Because he doesn't speak it. Well, I mean, he had a little bit of a Twitter rant at me earlier, so who knows?
I would love to
So
see
let's
that
talk about Sony forcing you to sign into your PSN account now on PC for Helldivers 2, or you won't be able to play the game. I wish I was making these things up. Before I get into the news, yes, I'm live right now. If you're seeing this video, I'm probably live, and I'm going to be live all day. Come check out the live stream. I'm sure you're not prepared.
In case of the audience is wondering why this is also because Sheriff has not seen this video yet, so I want to give him an opportunity to see it and see how he felt about the way Jay reported the news. Because praise the Lord, Sony did reverse their decision, and Steam is currently implementing the game into the store as we speak. So, but I want Sheriff to be able to give his take on the video as well. And then we're going to bring up the tweets, and then we're going to make the ultimate decision. Who is the bigger simp for Sony, Rich or Jay? Let me give my hand.
I did see today that Ghost of Tsushima is doing what I've actually implied is that if you do not sign up for a PSN account, you can play the single player of Ghost of Tsushima, but you have no access to the multiplayer mode. Which, by the way, I have no idea of anyone that I know that plays PlayStation that has ever done the multiplayer mode of Ghost of Tsushima. So honestly, literally, that's not really a win on their part.
Oh, yeah. So let's watch the video, and I want to get, because me and you have already stated what our opinions of this video is, but I want to see what Sheriff thinks of it.
What you're going to see over there, it's out of hand, off the rails, and I appreciate the support of this channel. Now, let's get back to Sony screwing over Helldivers 2 players on PC. If you haven't played Helldivers 2 yet on PC or PlayStation 5, it's kind of a big deal for Sony, and the big deal is that it was a game that was released on PlayStation 5 day one, but also on PC. Now, there was a requirement at the beginning of its life cycle to sign into your PlayStation account to be able to play the game on PC. However, the game was so popular and the numbers were so large. I don't know, I just touched my breasts when I...
So that was when me and Detective first stopped it. So what do you think, Sheriff? Let's continue on with the video.
Maybe I got a weird fetish. Anyways, forget about the breasts. Arrowhead, the company that makes Helldivers 2, went onto Twitter when the game launched and said, listen, we can't support this yet. We didn't know this many people would play. Don't buy the game until the servers are fixed. And the company that made the game, Arrowhead, got a lot of goodwill because of these gestures on Twitter and online. And let's just be honest here, the marketing for this game has been brilliant. I haven't seen really anything negative about the game being said past the launch date. You know, other...
So, Sheriff, since you own the game, you play the game a lot, what has been like your experience with the game?
Most of the time, you get some moments where you're carrying the team. Sometimes you're being the one to carry. Sometimes the entire missions are wipe. I've only ever had a few issues, mostly just little glitches here and there, but to how it was on release, it has been remarkably smooth.
Makes a lot of sense. Let's continue.
Servers having issues, they fixed all those issues and got a lot of goodwill because of the marketing and how they've handled the customers. And all of that goodwill that Arrowhead has built up, Sony has literally ruined overnight. As of May 6th, all new players for Helldivers 2 on PC will have to connect a PSN account to be able to play the game. And if you're already a player on PC, on May 30th, you'll start to see the login request. Log into your PC or you're not going to be able to play the game. And get this, and I'm reading this directly from the statement, on June 4th, if you do not have a PlayStation account attached to Helldivers 2 on PC, you will not be able to log into the game. Here's one thing I do want to bring up, just in case Arrowhead has nothing to do with this decision. I'm sure that they don't, but the CEO just went on Twitter literally right now, and he basically said, listen, hey everyone, in regards to linking and the questions and all that crap, please refer to the PlayStation vlog, you know, where there's a customer service page. And
so, as far as I've noticed with that is that there's some people I follow that believe that Arrowhead did have a hand in it, that apparently the CEO knew it was going to happen and intentionally allowed it and didn't really care what was going to happen. And I've seen other people saying that Arrowhead is completely innocent. They didn't have a single hand in it. I'm kind of in the in-between, that like Arrowhead kind of knew what was going to happen, but they didn't think they had the pulling power to convince Sony not to do it. What do you think, Sheriff?
Well, this sort of thing is likely part of the publishing agreement. So if we had a copy of their publishing agreement, we would probably see somewhere in there a reference to something akin to PlayStation Network. But even though the Steam page does say, at least at the time, you would have to have a third-party account, it was still, from what I remember, it was largely put down as optional. And to be frank, you didn't really need it. We have anti-cheat built into the game. It loads up before the game itself does. And to be quite honest, if you want crossplay, fair enough. Use PSN, but otherwise, I don't see why you would be so keen either way, other than to artificially boost your numbers for your shareholders. Say, hey, look, we've got people signing up to our PlayStation Network that's been flagging, like Amazon Prime, like Netflix, like all the others.
Which, funny enough, brings me to the reason why I brought this video up, is I've brought on screen the screenshots I got from Twitter earlier today while doing some extra research on this. So I'm going to read the screenshots for everyone here. And this is from the legitimate JKB account.
Are these
These are the
which one are these?
They're the ones I shared in the Discord.
Could you share them up on the screen for the viewers, maybe?
Yeah, I've got them up. I've got them up on the screen right now. I can, if you want, swap it over from the videos to these. But I don't know which ones it's going to show first. So
I did mute my mic just to shut me up a little bit. But when it comes to Helldivers being devs, I feel like they signed a contract that their games would not be manipulated in a certain way toward the company, but the company said, we bought your game anyway, so we're going to go against what you agreed on just to, like, make people sign up for a PSN account. And the dev, even like the original head of Arrowhead, was like, well, you know what? If you have a problem, go to PlayStation. Just like to spite the publishers. To be like, hey, you messed with my game, and now I'm just going to put you under the back burner.
So, to read the tweets, the first one Jay puts out that I saw was wow. Then it was followed up. This is proof of how important PC is to Sony. Another indication console gaming isn't as important as it used to be. And then when I checked back, he put this one out. And this is the one that makes me wonder about the video. And then we're going to cut back to my camera. By the way, this was a move to impress shareholders to boost the PSN numbers. So now I gotta wonder what that last video was supposed to be. Like, that calls into question how I felt about the video. Because where's that evidence? Why wasn't that in that video then?
I think I remember hearing him make the claim myself, and the first thing I asked was, where's the evidence for that?
Like, where is this evidence he's getting? Who does he know, or is he in these studios? Does he have an insider? It's like, and he won't explain, and then he gets mad when you say anything to him.
Honestly, I think he's pulling it off, like, out of a unreasonable source, like no one that's actually, like, he's actually talked to. I feel like he's pulling it out of someone told him this, and he's just going based off of what they said.
Possibly. Who knows, honestly. So I'm going to change my opinion of this video, of it, unless Sheriff wishes to finish the video, and we can finish the video for him. Or do you feel
Sure.
like, if he feels
If we're
good?
gonna judge the guy, the least we can do is see the whole video. I mean,
Well, to be
Also,
fair,
isn't
whether he likes the review or not, like we could at least review the whole video.
no, fucking JKB is already pissed at me and AJ.
yeah, I mean, he went on a bit of a rant at me earlier.
Respectfully,
Well, because we called him out of. Well,
I mean, that's the joys of being a public figure on a public platform.
Yeah.
no,
You're going
what's really
no matter
weird
what.
is
He really likes.
no. No, so Sheriff,
One's gonna take a long walk off a short gangplank.
no,
Indeed.
what's really fucking weird though is me and AJ were actually praising AJ, but AJ told
JKB.
me that he went like fucking crazy because JKB. Yeah, no, me and AJ personally actually was praising him on this video, and he still got offended.
I don't think he saw the new video. I think he only ever saw the live stream. And I'm pretty sure, because like I was talking to a friend of mine, I'm not exposing their name, and they were telling me that there was a good chance that Jay probably does hate me because of the live stream I did where you tore him apart for 2 hours straight, and I basically sat there. I was like, what do you want me to do? I'm not going to fight him because I'm not here to defend him. I'm here as the host. My job is to host the show, to keep the train rolling. So
No,
let's
you're
get that train rolling by finishing.
no, but we created a video that literally was praising him
Yeah, I was
for
praising
like
this video that we're
kind
watching right
of
now.
going after Sony, but yet still he kind of seems like he's holding back, which I kind of think he's a little bit of a show. Because if this was Microsoft pulling this shit, he would have fucking went on a rampage. But because it's Sony, he's watching what he is saying.
I suppose it's true, but who knows?
Well, I've watched this 3 times now, and it kind of feels like he's always holding back. Like, yeah, he is kind of tearing into Sony a little bit because they didn't realize that the PC community is bigger than what they thought. But if it was Microsoft doing that shit, he would have flipped out.
I mean, I suppose, like I said, at least from my conversations with him personally, he's told me he's neutral on the companies.
Not from what I've seen within the past 3 years.
Who knows?
And it's all coming from like Yellow Flash, Griffin Gaming, and even Fratanga. And Gundam, too.
Who knows? So let's let the sheriff watch some more of the video.
If you have any further questions, you could reach out using the quote-unquote contact PlayStation support at the bottom of the page. So he's essentially throwing Sony under the bus, saying, yeah, we have nothing to do with it, contact Sony. Now this update makes it very interesting because Arrowhead's essentially come out now saying that it's Sony's fault that this is happening. Contact them if you have issues. So I'm kind of wondering how you guys feel about Arrowhead after this major announcement. Are you going to continue to play the game on PC and sign into your PSN? Or are you going to just say, this isn't a big deal, who cares? I already have a PSN, so why wouldn't I sign in? Or are you going to completely stop playing the game? Let me know in the comments down below. My personal take about the situation is that I find it
So before he gets a personal take, so how do you feel, Sheriff, compare him to 8-Bit Eric as far as laying out the information? Who do you think is better?
Well, 8-Bit Eric was about maybe 2 or 3 minutes longer than his one, but he got into the meat of the issue a lot quicker. And to be quite frank, he seems quite flippant on the issue of the PSN network logins, when quite frankly, there has been a history of PlayStation dropping the ball with the security of people's personal information.
That is very much so true. And then, not to mention, it kind of, like Detective was saying earlier, it kind of feels like he was holding back. So me and Detective already seen it, so we're not going to give our opinion until you give your opinion after you hear his entire rant. So we're going to play the entire rant for you to hear, and then once he hits to the end of the video, then me and Detective will tell you what our original opinions were of it, and then what our new opinions of it, given now with the Twitter post. So let's.
So I'm muting my mic. Just so you know, I'm just muting because, everyone already knows what I thought about this video because it came out earlier today.
Yeah, and he had a pretty interesting rant, so apologies there.
I wasn't ranting. I was just pointing out that he's holding back a lot.
And you'll see why Detective's saying that in about 2 minutes or so.
Absolutely insane. These major corporations that, we all put our trust into with our credit card information, our home addresses, our phone numbers, have been hacked so many times in the past. So in that regard, how many PC players who want nothing to do with PlayStation, and I'm sure there's hundreds of thousands of them, do not want to give PlayStation, why am I Italian all of a sudden? They do not want to give PlayStation all of their information. And now they're being forced into doing it by PlayStation to continue playing a game that they've known and loved, and they've been playing for the last couple of months. So I think it's absolutely insane, these corporations who are massive, who have been hacked so many times in the past, can just change the rules. Hey, you've been playing for so long. Yeah, remember you didn't have to sign in. You got to do it now. We want all of your info. You got to make a PlayStation account. How do you feel about Arrowhead and Sony introducing the PlayStation Network back into Helldivers 2 and really forcing you to do it? Because after, June 4th, you're not playing on PC unless you have a PlayStation account attached to your account on PC. Did I say that right? Anyways, I'm streaming right now. Come watch the live show.
So that's pretty much on the end of the video there, Sheriff. So what do you think, based on that rant, quote-unquote rant that he gave, what do you think?
I agree that in many ways he is holding back. I mean, he is sitting there wearing a PlayStation branded hat, and he could have just said outright, me personally, as someone who uses both a computer and a PlayStation for gaming, I would rather not, or at least you could at least try and see the viewpoint of everyone else who doesn't want to give PlayStation their information, where they could be doxxed and or stalked on the internet thanks to their poor security.
And Detective.
So my point of view is PlayStation literally has the biggest known hack in history when it comes to gaming consoles. Microsoft didn't even have a big of hack when it came to the Lizard Squad and the Lazarus group. Sony was the most affected because it shut down their servers for months. That's what pisses me off, is Sony is the biggest hacked company when it comes to consoles.
And then, like I stated earlier with the Lazarus hack in the previous video, I agreed with Jay. I agreed with Jay that a lot of people like me, like the only reason why I have a PSN account is so I can save the data to an account if I swap over from console to console. just like I do with Apple as far as that. But unlike PlayStation with Sony, with Apple, they've been proven time and time again to protect your personal data at almost at all costs. Almost. Not always, but at almost any cost. So
No,
I would 10 times rather give my personal information to Apple, who's considered one of the most anti-consumer companies in the United States, than I would to Sony.
Well, my problem is he wants to compare it to Xbox. Xbox was actually more secured than Sony was, and yeah, you didn't see as many server crashes compared to Sony because they had a 24-hour team on standby because you actually paid for it through Xbox Live. Sony originally, during the PS3 and Xbox 360 age, Sony didn't have that. And Sony got hacked the worst because they didn't have round-the-clock server protectors. They didn't have people on standby. They didn't have people that were actually inside, like, 24/7. That's the biggest problem, is you're comparing Sony to Microsoft. And Sony got hacked way worse than Microsoft did. But he's trying to play it off like they had the same issue.
So, to give our final thoughts before we decide who's the bigger simp,
I'm going to leave it to Sheriff first.
That's what I'm going to say.
Dave.
Sheriff, I want you to give your opinion about this video. What do you think it is? Crickets. Interesting.
Holy cow.
And why do you think it's a meh video?
Well, he holds back far more than Rich does, I'm sorry to say. Like, I can see that Rich is probably trying to be middle of the road, but as you said, Jay is the one who has made the allegation effectively, because this is unsubstantiated. This whole thing was just to boost subscriber numbers. Well, if he's gonna make that kind of tweet, where's the evidence? Like, and this obviously this isn't where he says PC gamers have had victory, but we're going to need to see some evidence to back that up. I'm not saying that he has to out a source in it or anything. Maybe he just has to say, my source has given these reasons why. And then we can possibly have that come out where people who work for PlayStation put out tweets or covert Reddit posts saying, I can confirm this. Yes, this is the plan. But he doesn't have that.
Right, and it does come off very accusatory without evidence. But Detective, we already know your previous opinion, and if you want to know what his previous opinion was of the video, go and watch episode 4. But as far as you feel,
take the hat off.
Hashtag take the hat off, Jay.
So I did see him like 2 days ago. He did take his hat off. So I am no longer doing hashtag take the hat off yet.
But as far as the opinion of the video now, with that context, the context of the tweets, and seeing how everything's played out, how do you feel about the video now?
Rich is worse than Jay. When it comes to Rich versus Jay, Rich is worse than Jay. And I still think Jay fucking sucks.
So that's...
But Rich is worse.
So that's 1 vote towards Jay, 1 vote towards Rich, and I'm the tiebreaker.
Well, no, just Rich is like disguising the performance of the PlayStation, which I've already said. Like every couple years, Xbox or PlayStation comes out with a new version of their generation of console, but it barely makes a difference. And the problem is you're making a higher performance console, but yet you're not guaranteeing people that it's actually going to perform.
So, as far as my opinion goes of it, looking at Rich's video, which was totally against him about the PlayStation 5 Pro, I think he did a good job for the most part. Could he have laid in heavier? Yes, he could have, but you didn't really hear him protect Sony. If anything, you heard him call out Sony, saying, "What the hell do you think is going to happen when you keep taking these videos down about the PlayStation 5 Pro?" More people like me are going to end up start talking about it because we're going to be like, "Why the hell is Sony striking all these videos down? What's happening over here?" Now with Jay's video, noticed how. Again, I go back to that rant where so-called rant, where he just kind of was like, well, as someone has an account, it's kind of weird to me that you're denying the game. Instead of be like, look, I play the PlayStation, I play PC, you guys see me play the Nintendo Switch too. I play consoles, I play PC all the time to do the reviews of the game. And I mostly do console reviews of the game, because people hear about the PC version all the time, but they don't hear about the console version. So I want to offer that to them. How am I supposed to do console reviews when you lock those away from me? When you lock away versions from me? Like, what if I wanted to study how the crossplay works and how it affects your gameplay, how it affects your performance as far as the system is concerned? How am I supposed to do that when you lock it away? He didn't do that. He kind of just went meh. So, in my opinion, the video changed from being crickets to being trash. I think it's trash now.
Well, so my big problem is, honestly, this is kind of on an unfair scale, because Rich is trying to protect Sony, being like, oh, by the way, you can do 60 frames per second on a 4K. Seriously, you can ask any fucking PC gamer, they can do over 60 frames per second. But the problem is consoles have a hard lock to what you can actually do. With Jay, on the other hand, which, by the way, he has been proven wrong, that PC gamers actually carry a lot more weight than actual PlayStation gamers do.
Well, I'm going to say a lot of console gamers like me usually don't speak up too much, because the idea is when you're buying a gaming console, you're not buying it necessarily for the specs that it have. You're buying it with the idea that when you play the game will be stable no matter what. No matter what kind of conditions you're in, you should be able to play the game without you being hit with tons of lag or having to have an internet connection, which is becoming very common now.
You buy like an older version of a PS5 or an Xbox Series S.
I'm going to say we have a PlayStation 5, so let's go with the PS5.
No, I'm talking about the original PS5. There's the Xbox Series X.
Oh, Sheriff has something he wants to say. Sheriff has something he wants to say.
I was going to say that the only reason I've ever bought consoles, because I play Xbox and Switch at the moment, it's literally just for the exclusives. They have the exclusives that I want. I want to play Halo, I buy an Xbox. Nowadays, I don't need it too much because Master Chief Edition is on the PC. I bought a Switch literally to keep playing Pokemon, because I still have 3DS and Game Boy Advance, you know?
Ooh, Super Smash Bros.
Super Smash Brothers. So again, like to tie it all back into the point of this
Nintendo
video
has their own corner IP market,
well,
but the big problem when it comes to like new consoles coming out is they barely actually like have an advantage compared to the older generations inside that one generation. Like I said, Xbox Series S, you can't put a disc in it. Xbox Series X, you can put a disc in it. Now they're gonna have probably an Xbox Super, and then also you have PS5. You have the PS5 Slim, and now you have the PS5 Pro coming out. It's basically just a console war, but it barely makes a difference. But the problem is you're putting all this money into basically just a barely noticeable hardware upgrade, which even then is not guaranteed. Like, 60 frames per second on a 4K? Like, seriously? You should have had that in the beginning because we literally live in the world of technology. You could have had 60 frames per second to begin with.
Well, I was going to say, to go back to it, we're not so much debating about the consoles. Like I said, this is debating who's the bigger, because like I told you guys earlier, and I'm going to tell your audience now, I've been noticing a lot of like the simping for these companies, and especially with Rich and Jay as far as like Sony versus Microsoft on that level. So this is just us comparing the two and saying which one we think is the bigger Sony crybaby or the Sony sim, is what I call them.
Well, they're both ponies.
But like, who's the bigger one is what I'm saying here, and that's the point of the video. So we got Sheriff saying it's Jay, we've got you saying it's Rich, and I'm the tiebreaker here. So to go full screen with me to give my final point, looking at Rich's video, I noticed there was a lot of him talking about how Sony is making a bad mistake. Yes, he talked about the new specs and how the new specs were going to be a little bit better than the current PlayStation. But if you go back 3 videos, he talked about how when they first started talking about the PS Pro 5, how he thought it was ridiculous that they didn't already have that they're dependent on a software boost to pull that off, that the hardware by itself is not pulling that off. And if we go with Jay, let's go back to like some of Jay's videos like we did in the 3rd episode. You saw that he really didn't hammer that hard about the console, about what it could and could not do. Because like we've got the PlayStation 5 box, and I wish I brought it down here because it actually has written on it 4K 60 frames, 8K 30 frames. That's what it's supposed to be able to do. And that...
No, but that's up to, because there's a lot of games that have came out, like even Hogwarts Legacy, Cyberpunk 2077.
Cyberpunk was a trash game to begin with, and that's not the point of this video. That's not what I'm talking about. There's not the point.
You know what I'm meaning is even their hardware can barely manage 60 frames per second, even if you put it on performance mode.
So my point being is, as far as who do we think is the bigger pony, I am going to give that vote to Jay. And my reasoning goes back to that Twitter post. Where did you get the evidence that said that Sony clearly was going after the bigger numbers? Because my thing is, if they were truly going after the bigger numbers, let me finish here. If they were truly going after the bigger numbers, like they were saying, why wouldn't they try to lock you out of Steam then? Why wouldn't they try to stop the Steam sales of it if they were truly trying to boost their numbers like you said they were? It doesn't seem logical, because why not outright buy the game and the IP and lock it down to PlayStation only? If you were truly trying to boost your numbers, why not do that? Because if Microsoft did it with Microsoft did it with Halo and it was successful. Why not do it with Helldivers? That's my point. And that's why I think he is the bigger pony or the bigger simp, whichever one you want to call him, over
Okay,
Rich.
so yeah, no, I will flip to Jay being the biggest pony, because even with Halo MCC on PC, they don't actually require you to have a Microsoft account. Like, you can skip it, and they'll just be like, okay, well, then you're starting from fresh when it comes to achievements.
Right, and so all three of us are in agreement that the gentleman right here is the biggest pony for Sony, correct?
Yeah, Jay's gonna fucking rip me a new one, and his followers are probably gonna start sending some fucking death threats.
Sheriff, do you agree?
I'm just joking about the death threats. Like, you guys can't find me, so good luck.
Sheriff? I think he died on us. I think Jay's people killed him. So, anyhow, Jay...
Oh, God, I'm next.
Yeah.
Oh, God, they're knocking on my door.
They're knocking on the door. Here's what they sound like.
No, that's that one dude that messaged you.
I know,
that said that I was actually more realistic.
But anyhow, guys, we appreciate you watching the episode. I'm going to give a special thank you to Sheriff and Detective for joining me on the Who is the Bigger Sony Pony. And we have decided that it is Jay. So, unfortunately, they killed Sheriff, though, so... Guess we're going to have to find a new guy.
Oh, no.
I'm still here.
Oh, wait. No, I was about to say he was banging his wife while we were doing that. Hey, at least he has a wife compared to us.
Yeah.
We all know once you're married, that ends.
Yeah, he's pretty much so...
His wife around, that's for sure.
Indeed. So anyhow, everyone, I appreciate you watching this video or this episode of Epic or Trash. Like I said, thank you to Detective and Sheriff from here.
This should be called Biggest Pony,
not worry.
Epic or Trash.
Well, this is falling under Epic or Trash.
Oh, do what Jackass did. Call it 4.5.
Yeah, I know our 4. Well, yeah. So, appreciate you joining this episode of Epic or Trash, and we'll see you all next time. Have a good one, everyone.
Have a good one.